Hi, my name is John Toole, and we are in about mid-May here with some high cordon vines, high cordon trained or high wire bilateral trained vines. Basically, we're in that season where we can start thinking about shoot thinning, and the shoots have grown on some of our vines to be about 3 to 4 inches in length. Some are a little bit longer, some are shorter, but this is the time of year where you can really see if it's getting a little too dense with the shoot numbers, or if it's too sparse, we leave it alone. But if it is too dense, and we have in a certain foot of trellis more than 8 shoots per foot of trellis, then we have to do something to thin some of those out. So when I look at this spur in particular right here, I can see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4 shoots on there, and it's going to be just a little bit too much in one spot. So I'm sort of inclined to maybe I take away this one first of all, and then on this guy here, this is actually a double shoot. There's one shoot and 2 shoots. So I'm going to take the second one, the one that's a little bit lagging behind, and thin that down. So now we got a 2-bud spur, which is pretty reasonable. Here we've got 3 buds. Here we've got 1, 2, and 3. We can take off this one. This is sort of a secondary shoot that's much more further behind, so let's take him out of there. So this shoot thinning stuff it's a little bit early for this actually, at this shoot stage, so we can leave things go a little bit longer if we want to and just do some minor adjustments. This side of the vine is real sparse. This is a fresh cane, so there's no shoot thinning needed on there. The shoots are automatically spaced at a pretty nice distance apart, so we're just going to leave that alone. 3-bud spur, that's nice. Here's a 3-bud spur. There's 1 secondary shoot on the bottom here, so I'm thinking of pulling that off. Here is nice, but here there's a lot of shoots going on, and some of these unexpected non-count buds actually pushed into shoots, so we could take some of those off. For sure, 1. Here's a primary shoot and a secondary in the same node position, so let's take that secondary out of there. And we can think about these other 2 maybe a little bit later, or possibly leave them because they're in good position to renew this spur next year. If I want to get that same spot and remove this spur that's creeping higher, I can work with one of these 2, so that's why I'm going to leave them. Leaving a little bit more insurance at this point, as far as leaving a few more buds, is prudent, but don't leave excessive amounts where it's going to be too dense and too hard to deal with during the summer. Here we've got a little bit of cane on the end, some cane in combination with the cordon. It looks reasonable. I don't see too many shoots here in fact, so we're going to leave that as is. This side we've got 2 canes laid together, and they seem to be making up for each other pretty nicely because their internodes are just a little bit longer, so I'm not going to thin that down quite yet, except for anything that I see where there's a secondary bud pushing with a primary bud. I'll take those off pretty easily. You can see how these shoots are nice on this spur, and then these are a little bit further behind, but just because they're behind, I don't necessarily always want to get rid of them because I need to make a new spur position for next year, and he's probably going to be our best candidate, but that's also another backup candidate, so we're going to leave those for right now as our little insurances. I guess the rest of the vine looks decent in here, not too much, maybe a little bit going on in the center of the vine here. In the head of the vine it gets a little busy, so we kind of keep that more reasonable. Still pretty reasonable, pretty nice shoot density. And again, the shoots here, they're not quite as advanced, so these are about 2-inch shoots. If we take much more off at this point, we still don't know how much other maladies might come our way with hail or frost or that kind of stuff. So